What motivates you to learn new things?
Right, it depends on the domain in life. So professionally, the thing that motivates me is business impact, right? Like God, I would be embarrassed. I literally would be just embarrassed if somebody was like, Rona is the thing that's standing in our way. He doesn't want to, he's one of them now. I would just be like, what happened to me, right? Like, why am I no longer a driver of innovation, right? So there's a point of pride, right? And I think that, you know, the value of innovation can't be understated. I mean, I think that the last thing I want to be is part of the Me Too generation, right? I'm really interested in doing something unique and interesting. I mean, that's just, you know, also I have excess, otherwise my brain gets kind of bored, right? So, you know, I mean, part of this is just drive. And part of this is, you know, I think it's good for the staff, right, to push themselves, to learn new stuff. But often, you know, you find some innovation, you find some company you can partner with that changes, just like I was talking about game-changing analyses, you can find game-changing partners, you can invent game-changing capability. Like, that stuff is just as fun as the game-changing analytics, right? I think in my personal life, I said this to my wife the other day, actually, I feel like I've become a little boring. Like, before we had the kids, right now I spend a lot of time with the children, a lot of time commuting, you know, whatever balance, you know, my wife and I hang out together, but I really, you know, obviously at work, but my hobbies really have taken a back seat. And I felt like before, like I could talk about poker, like I still can, but I'm not as knowledgeable. I had poker interest, I had sailboating interest, and I think that while I can still maintain that curiosity in my professional career, the kind of helping raise these children has really made it hard for me to devote to be an interesting person anymore. So we were at a party, and I was like, God, we should hang out with those people. They're more interesting than us. And I was a little embarrassed by it. I was like, shit, we used to be the interesting ones. And I think, like, you know, we're just in a phase right now where the children require a lot of time and energy, and like we committed to doing a good job to each other. You know, we've committed to each other to do a good job with the children.
Yeah.
So I candidly, I'm just now starting to lift my head up and say, okay, Ginge, that's my wife's name. Okay, actually, I'm just pulling my head up now and looking to kind of go to town on some other topic, right? So I used to study poker, I studied sailing, and I'm starting to get into cars. So I may take cars as a hobby. I'm also thinking about kicking back. I used to be a photographer when I was in high school, and I'm thinking about going out and buying myself a nice SLR and doing some photography again. So I think the kids are now old enough where I don't need to devote quite so much time to them, and I can start to foster some personal interests again.